Okay, thank you for watching DevRelCon Tokyo 2021 interview session. I'm Atsushi, head organizer of the conference. And in this time, I will introduce our awesome speakers and chat with them about their talk in 15 minutes. So today's guest is Matt Hamilton at RippleX. Welcome, Matt. Hi.
Good morning. Hello. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. And you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for attending the interview sessions. So, and I think your local time is 11 a.m., right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so thank you for attending early morning. Okay, and at first, could you please introduce yourself, and you can talk anything about you, like your favorite technology, sports, hobby, music, or movies, anything about you.
Okay, sure. Hi everyone. My name's Matt Hamilton. I'm the director of developer relations currently at a company called Ripple, and particularly a division called RippleX. And RippleX is involved with kind of accelerating what we call the Internet of Value, and that is the ability to be able to move payments around as easily as information. I'm based in the UK. and as Sushi said, so it's in the morning here. But I'm mainly working for with my colleagues over in San Francisco, so I'm normally working a lot later than this. So it's great to have a chat at a more civilized hour, which is good. So what do I like doing besides this? I spend a fair amount of time tinkering with a van. I've got a camper van that I have that I converted from a van to a camper. So anything to do with electronics, building things. I like building things. That's the main thing. So I've got a wife. I've got several kids. The youngest is 10, and so kind of helping her kind of navigate the world as well. So, but she's what's interesting is I'm going to be talking about Twitch, and I told her about it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I use Twitch," which is quite funny. So she was saying, "Oh, I can build overlays for you, right?" And so she's one of my biggest fans, I think, which is quite funny. So yeah, I guess that's probably it.
Okay, so I have some questions for you, and I think your former job is at IBM, right?
So I used to be at IBM, yes.
IBM.
Yeah.
So I think IBM provide to the blockchain services, and your current company RippleX provide to the blockchain payment, right? So it's involved your careers, right?
It has been. When I was at while I was at IBM, I wasn't actually involved in blockchain stuff at IBM. So the main involvement I had at IBM was around AI, machine learning, and data science. But I've had an interest in blockchain and cryptocurrencies for about 4 or 5 years now. So I got into XRP, which is a cryptocurrency that is used by Ripple, about 4 years ago, and interest in the XRP ledger. And I started writing some automatic trading bots to trade against the XRP ledger. And I'm a Python developer. I love Python, but there wasn't really any Python API at the time or Python libraries. So I started to learn Node.js. I've never particularly liked JavaScript, and I thought, okay, it's time to kind of bury the hatchet and give it a go and learn async programming with JavaScript. And so I started doing that and building something to trade on the decentralized exchange that's on the XRP ledger blockchain. So that was kind of my sort of side passion. But I was working at IBM mainly doing machine learning and AI. And then I tried kind of combining the two to see whether I could use machine learning and AI to predict financial markets. And I'll give you a hint. I'm not sat on a yacht right now, so I'll give you a hint that that's not as easy as it might sound. So and then I had the opportunity to join Ripple, which was kind of a dream job for me to go and do that. So I took my developer relations experience and developer advocacy experience that I got at IBM, and I'm now applying it at Ripple for RippleX.
I see. So give me your ideas. What is the difference between like normal developers or blockchain developers? What is difference?
Good question. Well, it depends really on what people mean by blockchain developers. So a lot of at the moment, when people talk about blockchain developers, they're talking about people who are creating, say, smart contracts on blockchains. And the most widely known is Ethereum for smart contracts and using a programming language called Solidity. And so a lot of when people talk about blockchain developers, they're talking about people creating kind of financial instruments or derivative products on the Ethereum blockchain or blockchains like Ethereum with smart contracts. From what I'm involved with XRP, XRP is mainly used for payments. So it can be, for example, streaming payments live. So whilst I'm reading a blog post, my web browser could be automatically sending payments, or it can be used for payments between countries, cross-border payments. So XRP is used a lot in Japan with, say, SBI. SBI, there's a joint venture between Ripple and SBI, and SBI use XRP as part of an incentivization program for shareholders, for example. So shareholders of SBI get paid in XRP, for example.
I see. So I have another question about the open source. You involved to the Plone Foundation, right?
Yeah.
So I know Plone. It has a very long history
Yeah. Yeah.
of a Python program.
Yeah.
So why did you involve to the Plone Foundation?
Yeah, so Plone is a open source content management system written in Python, and it's based upon a web framework called Zope. And Zope
Mhm,
was released open source in 1999, I think it was,
mhm, mhm,
1998 or 1999, and it was probably one of the first examples of a company open sourcing software. And when it
mhm,
first came out, I mean, this was world news. This was headlines on all of the business news that a company was open sourcing software. Because at that time, it was such a strange concept that people were saying, well, how can you make money on open source software? Why would you open source software? Of course, now it's kind of almost the norm now that everything
mhm,
is open sourced. Um, but I got involved in using Zope at the time. Zope was very much kind of ahead of its time. It had a what we would now call a NoSQL database that again
mhm,
nobody had really heard of back in 2000, and it allowed you to build functions very much like say AWS Lambda functions, which
mhm,
are functions that you would create through a web interface, and you can invoke them, and they can do some processing and return. And on top of that was built a content management system called Plone. And as you
mhm,
say, Plone is actually quite well known in Tokyo, and the Plone conference was held in Tokyo about 3 years ago, I think.
mhm,
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to make it, but I know quite a few of the Plone developers in Tokyo. There's a company called CMS.com there, and so I've met them a few times. And then on top of Plone, there was the Plone Foundation. And the Plone Foundation was one of the first open source foundations to be founded. It was modeled on,
mhm,
I think, the Apache Software Foundation, which was
mhm,
really the only other one in existence at the time. And kind of the Plone Foundation's goal was to kind of protect and promote Plone, so deal with all the things like trademarks and any licensing infringements against kind of the open source license, and help organize things like the annual conference and uh,
mhm,
pay subsidies to developers, travel grants, do fundraising, that kind of thing. And what's interesting is that kind of experience is now kind of coming back again, because I've been involved in the XRP Ledger Foundation,
mhm,
which is a similar kind of thing for the XRP community. And I've been talking a lot to the people who are kind of
mhm,
running the XRP Ledger Foundation as
mhm.
to how the XRP Ledger Foundation can help like protect and promote the XRP Ledger in a similar way to the Plone Foundation did with Plone.
Oh, that's very interesting about that.
Yeah.
I see. So we will move to the next topic about your talk.
Yeah.
So could you please talk about your abstracts or summary of your talk, please?
Sure. So my talk's going to be about using Twitch for developer education. For those of you who haven't come across Twitch or don't know Twitch, Twitch is a online streaming service. It originally came from the video game community and is used a lot at the moment to kind of broadcast video games whilst people are playing. And it allows them to kind of show their screen, but also talk to their audience. And this has now been adopted a lot by developer relations. And it was something that I first came across at IBM. And some of my colleagues there, Mia Moore, Spencer Crum, JJ Askar, kind of got me into Twitch streaming. And I found it a fantastic way to engage with developers. So the great thing being is it's live, and there's a text chat for people to kind of chat back. And this kind of seems, fairly normal now in this kind of, pandemic lockdown world. But before then, it was quite a new thing, really. And the great thing being is it allows very immediate feedback. And using Twitch, people are using it a lot for live coding. And you can actually say set up your Twitch stream where you can share your screen while you're actually doing coding. And the great thing being is people can learn not just about what you create, but they get to see what you deleted as well, what you changed, what you edited. They get to see the half hour you spent scratching your head because something didn't work, or the time you spent Googling, the syntax for a particular API. It helps build a rapport with other developers, because sometimes, if you're stood up on stage presenting something, you can seem a bit of a superhero. that you kind of know all the answers, and the audience just sees the finished product. They see the end demo. They don't see all of the hours, days, weeks put into preparing for that demo. Whereas with Twitch, it's very much the audience gets to kind of sit on the shoulder of the developer and watch what they're doing, not just what they do, but why they do it. And it encourages the developer to talk out loud about what they're doing. So they'll start off a project and say, right, okay, we're going to build a ticket issue tracking app, for example, in this particular framework, because we want to learn this framework. And in doing so, what are we going to need? So we're going to need a database. We're going to need a way to connect to it. And kind of it forces you to talk out aloud about the decisions you're making. And as you start writing code, you're forced to kind of talk out loud about what you're doing, which enables you to better think and reflect upon your progress and the decisions you make. And sometimes it's described as learning in the open. If you've ever done pair programming, it's kind of similar to pair programming, but it's not just one person sat next to you, but a whole bunch of people sat next to you. And it can be a little intimidating at first, but once you get used to doing it, it's actually a great way to learn. And I've used it to kind of force myself to learn certain things. So I'll say, okay, we're going to do a Twitch stream next week on this particular topic. And that means I've got to go away and make sure I understand that topic to some degree. Now, I don't need to understand it all, because part of the Twitch stream is going to be about me learning about the topic. And you get to see, what works and what doesn't work. But that's, kind of, it helps me learn as well as a developer.
I see. That's very interesting because I started the Twitch streaming a few months ago. But please give me the ideas how to get subscribers more.
Right. Yeah, that's a difficult one about getting subscribers. And what's been interesting that I've seen is we did like a kind of a launch event for RippleX Twitch stream. And we got a large number of people kind of come along because it was new, because they wanted to see what's going on. And kind of, I naturally thought that number would decrease after that initial launch. So the initial launch, we had about 800 people simultaneously live. We had several thousand people in total watch the stream during that live event. And then, of course, the numbers would kind of drop down afterwards as people, as those that were kind of more interested long-term would stay on. And what you would see is you start to see a kind of a regular set of viewers, and you get to see people that kind of come back week after week and that contribute in the chat as well, and contribute about what's going on in the chat and discuss. And what's great is you then sometimes see a whole parallel conversation going on in the chat. So you're talking about one thing, and then you have people in the chat actually helping each other out as well, which is a fantastic feeling. But kind of building those numbers up. It's about kind of promotion as well. So I do a lot of promotion on Twitter with regards to it. We also push it out to various like newsletters and community groups that we work with as well to kind of get people interested.
I see. So I think Twitch is a brand new tool to developer relations right now. So I strongly recommend most of evangelists or advocates should listen your talk and get the knowledge or experiences from your talk.
Yeah, come along.
Okay, so our interview time is over. So today's interview is done. Again, our conference, DevRelCon Tokyo 2021, will be held on the June 5th. Everyone save the date and waiting the day. Okay, so Matt, thank you for coming today, and thank you for attending and sharing your experiences. So, and I hope you also will enjoy the DevRelCon Tokyo 2021 with us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My only regret is I don't get a chance to get to Tokyo this year. But maybe next year. I've missed out now on several conferences in Tokyo, but hopefully next year I'll get to come along because I really want to come to Tokyo. But yeah, it's great. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to everybody next month.
Yes. See you next month.
Great. Thanks, Atsushi.
Thank you.
Bye.